Welcome, my friends of the interwebs, and welcome to a new edition of Real Life. This is going to be completely different, completely off the wall, something I just came up with, and I'm going to give it a shot and see if it works. Hopefully you like it. There's not a day that goes by that I don't get some request for, a new Real Life episode. And most of you know that, well, a lot of you know, I don't know how many you know, but I'm working on the book. It's definitely a challenge. I have outlined, for the most part, the entire book as far as what I'm going to be covering. I've actually made a connection with an awesome YouTuber who has agreed to transcribe my insane ramblings and put it into book form. And I'm going to be giving her a shout out in the very near future. But stay tuned for that. So I'm working on this book. I'm hoping that I can get it out in the next few months. So what I decided to do was just share with you the first few pages of it. It just very rough draft, nowhere near complete. But I do want you to know that the book will cover so many more things in regard to the whole story that I was just didn't have time to talk about, or I don't know, it's just one of those things when you're making videos, you sit down. Plus, there were so many things that I couldn't talk about legally for various reasons, and I'll cover all that in the book too. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read to you the first few pages. And by the way, for those of you who want to know why I'm not sitting at the preacher bench, I've tried this 10 times already, and I just can't, I'm not good at reading aloud. I'm just not. And the added pressure of having the camera staring at me, it just wasn't working. This may not even work. You may not even see this. I don't know, but I'm going to give it a try. So I'm going to read the first few pages of the beginning of the book, and by all means, feel free if you've got some critiques, throw it in there. Once again, this is a really rough draft, and nowhere near what the complete or finished product is going to be. But anyway, hopefully you enjoy this. So here we go. This will be the beginning of the book, the real life book, and I'm not sure that that's what I'm going to call it, but it is what it is. Anyway. 1932 turned out to be a pretty good year for me, even though I would not know that for several decades to come. The fact is that the decisions made by my grandfather, W.F. Hunter, would shape my life in unimaginable ways. My name is Colonel Richard L. Hunter, and this is my real-life story. Through most of this story, I am fairly confident that you will call bullshit. However, I believe in the end you will come to the realization that you cannot make this stuff up. But for now, I can only invite you along for the ride, and I will promise you that if you accept my invitation, you will not be disappointed. I can also promise you that everything you read will be 100% fact, even as bizarre as it most certainly will seem. Now let's get back to 1932. During the years leading up to the Great Move, my grandfather worked hard and saved every dime he earned, working as a logger, a teacher, and a horse trader. He was finally able to put together his stake. W.F. Hunter was about to make his move, and a ballsy one at that, considering we are talking about Great Depression times. The plan was simple. Find land with coal under it and then start a mining company. It sounded like a good plan to him. After all, every rich person he knew in Appalachia owned a coal mine. He found 482 acres of prime coal land in Bell County, Kentucky. The partners in that interest had fallen on hard times due to the economic realities of the day, and my grandfather made them an offer of $20,000, which was a sizable sum in those days. It turned out to be an offer that they couldn't refuse, and were more than likely thrilled to get. However, there was one problem. Those $20,000 represented every red cent that he had. In fact, he would have to work that land all by himself, pick in hand, and he knew that was an impossible task. He would need men and equipment that was capable of moving tons of coal. He would need more money to get the mine up and running. Unfortunately, the few banks that were left in 1932 were not loaning money. So unless you had connections or your name was John Dillinger, you were not likely to get any money from a bank. Hunter was not going to be beaten. He had come too far and worked way too hard to let a little thing like money hold him down. He knew of only one man in Bell County that had any real money, and that was the town pharmacist. Some things never change, as it is still the drug dealers in Bell County that have all the money, licensed or unlicensed. He decided that he would try and work a deal with the man, and eventually they would agree on a 50-50 undivided split of the 482 acres in exchange for the working capital to get the mine up and running. It was a deal that would haunt my grandfather for the rest of his life and cause his children much grief. I must admit that it worked out pretty good for me. Over the next few years, my grandfather's partner seemed to come up with every excuse in the book for not bringing in the kind of capital that it would take to make a real go at creating a successful coal mine. But the fact is that, regardless of President Roosevelt's New Deal, the Great Depression was getting worse, and with industry at a standstill, the demand for coal was dropping like a rock, pun intended. Hard cash was increasingly difficult to come by, and if you had any, your best bet was to do whatever it took to hold on to it. By 1935, it had become clear to my grandfather that his partner was giving him the proverbial shaft, and it drove a wedge between them that would transcend generations. It would be all too easy to judge my grandfather harshly for not having a contract between him and his partner, spelling out how much money was to be infused into the operation in exchange for one half of the land and company. But the way I see it is that he was trying to make it work, and he was desperate, and the capital, desperate for the capital. So as they say, desperate people do desperate things, and also stupid things. After 1937, the mining of what was then and still is called the Mockingbird property came to a full stop, and my grandfather, along with all but one of his 6 children, would never see coal mining out of that land again. The land would stay undivided between his partner and the Hunter family for a very long time to come. However, no real money would ever be generated, and for the most part, it became bastard property. It would stay that way long after the death of my grandfather and his partner. W.F. Hunter passed from this earth in 1965, leaving a bombshell of a will that left all of his worldly possessions to his wife and 6 children, including his one-half undivided interest in the Mockingbird property, with the caveat that the land could not be sold for 30 years after the death of his wife. His partner passed, I think, about 1974, and left his one-half undivided interest in the Mockingbird to his 4 grandchildren, and that's the way it would stay for 3 more decades. Okay, I'm going to stop there. That's basically the beginning of the book. Let me know what you think about that. Like I said, I'm going to be covering stuff that I never even mentioned in my videos, and hopefully it turns out good. Yeah, I've never wrote a book before. I'm not a writer. English is my second language. My first language is gibberish. So, we're going to hope for the best here and see how it works out. But I would like to have this up and running in the next, out in the next few months. I don't know if that's even realistic, but I'm going to try my best. It's a slow start, but I think I've broke the ice, so hopefully things start flowing pretty good. All right. Oh, the T-shirt that you're seeing. I'm really sorry I've not set up that PayPal account yet. I just haven't done it. I'm not going to make any excuses. For those of you who have sent me money for T-shirts, I appreciate that. I do have a couple of 3Xs left, but just a couple. I've got probably 10, maybe even 11 2Xs. I'm completely out of the 1X. But I did find a couple of orange 1Xs. If anybody's interested, they can contact me on that. And then I have some larges. Actually, I think I've only got 7 or 8 larges left, and I think that's it. So, but anyway, if you want a T-shirt, they're $20. You can send that to my P.O. box, which you can find on my front page or my channel page. And for the most part, that's it. Anyway. Yeah, make sure you contact me and let me know you're sending me money and reserve your size. So, anyway, everybody take care.